And we are green. Evenly start inside line with the edge.
Mark Jackson just slower than Wesley Holland.
Drivers around the corners as long as they hit the...
Max on lid. Race number 1.
Over the Top Designs is one of the premier paint shops in all of iRacing. Do you need a special paint scheme for a new season, series, league, or special event? Well, Over the Top can take your design, your idea, your imagination, and create or recreate it into an eye-popping, one-of-a-kind special paint scheme. While we're speaking of one-of-a-kind, Over the Top offers the ability to capture that special moment, paint scheme, or accomplishment in iRacing by creating it into a custom die cast. Over the Top also offers custom logos, banners, and even hero cards. So go see John and the crew at Over the Top Design for all your needs. You can check them out on Facebook at Over the Top Designs. And remember, don't just look good, look over the top. All right, ladies and gentlemen, race fans out there, welcome to the Loose Lugnuts Racing Series here. This is the Scoops Old Fashioned Ice Cream Xfinity Racing Series. We're being brought to you tonight by Extreme Sim TV. Our normal broadcaster unfortunately was unable to make it, so I roped a fellow broadcaster from another night, Rachel Thornhill's up here tonight.
Hey Ronald, how's it going?
Very, very good. We got a pretty decent field out there tonight. We're showing 22 cars, and there we were just talking about it. The 199 has just connected to the server. So, with that being said, we'll get started with our little pre-race show here. Generically speaking, before each race, Rachel and I kind of talk about the week prior, events that happened the week prior, and kind of talk a little bit about what's going to be happening. This week, we'll talk a little bit about last week, but not a lot, to be completely honest, because this week is the first race of the Loose Lugnuts Chase. So last week, we were at Dover, and we had two really quick drivers, one pro driver and another one who's kind of being groomed, Garrett Maines and Seth Ryder. They took first and second at Dover. Scott Patton We'll talk about him in a minute. He came across third. Keith Haney came across fourth. Jason Maines finished in fifth. So it'll be a little bit interesting because those guys are not racing tonight. So the pro type drivers, we've asked to kind of step away and let these guys battle it out here for the championship. So yeah, I think tonight we'll see some pretty interesting things happening out there. I'm going to go ahead and flash up I'm going to put the points up on the right-hand side there. It's kind of a condensed version, but Rachel and I were kind of talking about it before, about the points. So we do have all 12 chase drivers did show up. So going into the chase, Jason Maines is going to be holding the number 1 position in points. He is at 1,012 points, and then Jason Lance just 1 point behind. So we can kind of talk a little bit real quick about that, about the seasons that these guys have had. The chase reset is kind of like the do-over for your season, Rachel. Now, you can see that Jason Maines is 12 points ahead. He would have been at 1,011, but he had 1 win on the season, so that takes him to 1,012. And then your 12th place car has 12th place driver has 1,000 points, so there's 12 point separation. We race 2 races per round, so we'll race tonight here at Indianapolis, and I'll go ahead and flash the screen for the races after that. We'll be racing at Richmond. And after Richmond, we'll make the cut to 8 drivers. Then we'll go to Pocono and Vegas, and then we'll cut down to the last 4. We'll go to Atlanta and crown ourselves a champion. Now, with all that being said, what do you think about the reset and kind of putting everything back together?
I think with the reset, this kind of puts this as anybody's game, if you think about it, because like you mentioned, 12th position, has 1,000 points. First place has 12 more points than them. Depending on what type of nights they have, there's a chance for that person that's in 12th to actually move up. If for some reason any of these other guys end up having a bad night. So
and we did see that actually on Thursday night. I think our second place points person, Justin Michael, actually had just a horrible night. First lap, there was a 3-wide situation. He got into the wall. Caution never came out for it. Never came out. He never got a chance to try to repair the car. He ended up going multiple laps down, and he eventually retired to the garage. And we had 31 trucks on Thursday night. So I think he lost roughly, I want to say, and I'm not positive, but I think he lost 27 points. So tonight, I'm looking at our entry list. We have 24 cars tonight. The 12 of these guys are chase contenders, 12 are not. So again, like you said, 12 points. If somebody has a bad night here, 24 cars, if they end up finishing 24th, they could potentially, find themselves 12th in points after they leave here tonight.
Right. Yeah. So, hopefully, these guys don't run into anything major and they're able to, either sustain the position that they're in or possibly move up. But yeah, it can definitely go either way. It can either go in their favor or it could go against them, if they get caught up in something tonight.
So I'm flashing up what is the running order in practice, meaning these are the practice times that these guys have put up. First on the board is actually Jeffrey Merck. So Jeffrey Merck currently being shown 4th in points. You guys can see it there on the right hand of your screen. He is currently 1,009 points. So he's 3 points behind the leader. Michael Jeans, who is being shown tied for sixth. There's a three-way tie for sixth place because of wins and whatnot. Is second on the board. Jason Maines, who is your current points leader, is being shown third fastest. Then you have some non-chase drivers, but a guy like Keith Haney, if he gets the car figured out, he's really good on the long runs. Topper Dugas, not a guy that we're real familiar with seeing here. He's run here in the past, put up a very good time. He's currently showing in the fifth position. Ted Wade, being shown fifth in the points. He's currently running sixth fastest in practice. Elliott Sadler, not in the points, but he is out here running tonight. Currently seventh. Scott Patton. Usually we see Scott Patton running further forward, especially in time, but he's currently being shown eighth quickest out there on the racetrack, and he is third in points. You can see that you don't see a whole lot because like I said, I kind of broke it down for the folks out there so it'd be small on the screen, but Scott Patton led the series with 3 wins. That moved him up actually from basically fifth position on the points to third because of bonus points. So something just happened, and okay, Scott Patton actually just broke his way up to second position in practice, and we're getting ready to end the practice session here. We'll be going into qualifying. Brandon Thornhill, though, being shown 9th. Brian Abbott 10th. Held 11th. Randall, Lance, Gilmore, Danielson, Markheim, Sadler, Richer, Haney, Hoskins, Drum, Michael, Haynes, Miller. What concerns me about that is Trent Drum is currently tied for 6th, and Rob Haynes has not run a lap yet, but he is also tied for 6th. So it's going to be very interesting to see tonight, Rachel, who can do what. I think this is just crazy as some of these guys get ready. Let's go ahead. Rob Haynes, who did not take a practice lap, let's go ahead and jump on board with him as he gets out there and gets ready to qualify. We'll see what kind of time he lays down. We know that some of these guys were super fast, but qualifying is always a different animal than just going out there and practice. For some reason, for me at least, I get much more nervous when I'm qualifying, and I generally don't run as well. So this is his warm-up lap coming through turn 4 here. Big racetrack tonight, Rachel. A 2.5 mile. It's not even it's not considered a super speedway, but 2.5 miles around this racetrack.
Justin Michael unfortunately hit the pit road wall, so he's having to start over.
And with it taking 50-ish seconds to get around here, you only have 5 minutes to qualify. You can't really screw around too much. So Rob Haynes looking really good on this first lap. He gets out right close to the wall. I don't think that he touched it. We'll see here. I'll leave the qualifying order up on the left-hand side of the screen. Those were the warm-up laps, so they don't technically count. We'll start getting the actual times here. Rob Haynes was one of the first ones out on the track, and he's about to lay down his first lap. We'll see where he comes across time-wise. A 52.7. That's going to put him well towards the front, I think. There's Haney, just came across.
Right.
With the
Yeah, Haney
52.6.
just passed Rob Haynes, and then you've got Ray Richer and Vernon for the 3rd and 4th position right now.
The guy that I'm curious as he comes across the line, let's see what his time is. 53 on his first lap. Jeffrey Merck is the guy that I'm talking about. He ran a 52.4. Now we'll see if he can pick up his second lap. or if he's going to be starting a little further back in the pack. He looked very strong in practice. We'll see if that's going to change here as we go down into turns 3. And then eventually 4, because it's so long here. Jeff using up all of the racetrack out there.
Scott Patton ended up kind of brushing up against the wall, but he currently has the fastest lap right now with a 52.5.
And Jeffrey Merck comes across the line. We'll see what he scores. If he was able to get that time that he wanted. He did run a little bit faster. He ran a 52.746, so a little better, but nowhere near his practice time. And I think that sometimes that has a lot to do with nerves and whatnot. Here comes Brian Abbott. See if Brian posts the time here. He's actually on his warm-up lap, and with just about a minute left, I think he's going to be lucky to get 1 lap in here.
Right, you also have Justin Michael on track. Hopefully he can get a lap. I mean, you know, we did see where, you know, at his very first lap, unfortunately, he had an incident where he crashed. So hopefully he can actually get a qualifying lap in.
A lot of guys waiting till late. I think it's going to be very close for some of these drivers, just barely getting their times in. Here comes Mr. Haney, and he puts down a lap time of a 52.964. That will bump him up into, well, that'll end our qualifying session. That has not sure. I don't think some of these guys got their full run in. We'll have to wait and see. I think Scott Patton took the pole. I'll focus on him when he grids up. We'll put it into a different put it into a different camera mode, and then we'll check out some of these, or we'll check out this grid.
Right. Scott Patton is showing as the one that took the pole, and then there was also 6 cars that ended up not qualifying.
All right. Well, let's hope the grid is correct. And unfortunately, no, the grid is not correct from my end. So let me see if I can get it to come back up and be correct. Something is wrong with my grid tonight, so we're going to have to do this manually. We'll have Rachel read them off.
Okay, so starting on your poll tonight is the number 46 of Scott Patton, and second is Keith Haney, third is Jason Maines, fourth Justin Michael, fifth Topper Dugas, sixth Jeffrey Merck, seventh Rob Haynes, eighth Brandon Thornhill, ninth Vernon Markheim. I'm hoping that's how you say his last name. Okay, and 10th is Judd Danielson, 11th Ted Wade, 12th Brian Abbott, 13th Hermie Sadler, 14th Jason Lance, 15th Jeff Gilmore, 16th Ray Richard, 17th Trent Drum, 18th Elliott Sadler, 19th Michael Jeans, 20th John Held, 21st is Dode Hoskins, 22nd is James Haney, 23rd is Jeremy Crandall, and 24th is Calvin Miller.
All right, so we'll wait for these guys to kind of get lined back up. Scott Patton is going to lead him down for the charge here. Big racetrack. 80 laps to go tonight, or 80 laps tonight. So 24 cars, hopefully no cautions. It'll be pretty cool to see another caution-free race here. We had one not last night, but Thursday night. As we come out of turn 3 and do this slow crawl from 3 to 4. I think this is going to be a really exciting race. I think the cars handle very well tonight. I'm excited. I can't wait for the green flag to drop and get underway and see what these guys can do, not only on the short run, but on the long run as well.
Right, I agree with you, especially with this being such a large field. And as we say that, pace cars down. You got Scott Patton and Keith Haney coming to the line. Green flag's out. And Scott Patton gets a huge run on that start. But you've got Keith Haney that's sticking right behind him. You've also got, that would be the number 87 of Justin Michael that kind of pulled up right behind, just pretty much going single file behind Jason Maines.
And as you bring up his name, I switch the camera, and Jeffrey Merck, who's in the chase, ran very well on Thursday night. I think he ran third, if I'm not mistaken, but ran very well. Makes a move on Justin, and moves his way up into the 5th position. I like this overlay a little bit better. It shows a little bit more for you out there watching at home. Let me know what you think out there in the comments. But so far, green flag racing. Of course, we're on lap 1 of 80. Big racetrack. Got a lot of racing to go tonight. We'll see how things shake up. I'll be counting on Rachel to point out anything that I might miss, especially when people start getting closer together. I'm just kind of keeping the camera pointed at Jeffrey Merck right now because he's kind of in the middle of everything. We'll drop back to Vern Margheim, who's currently being shown in the 8th position as he runs. It's just a big single file line all the way down the front stretch.
Right, and you also have the 86 of Jason Lance that just got around Judd Danielson to move up to the 12th position.
Now again, we talked about points earlier. I can put the points. They will not update, but they will give you an idea where the drivers were at the beginning of the night, and you'll kind of have to do the math yourself in your head, and you can watch the running order. We'll flash that occasionally. But Jason Lance currently 12th. There's quite a few drivers in between him and first place that are not in the chase, but all those places are points. So Jason's going to have to work hard to try to get further forward and get more points to ensure that his current position is better.
Right, because I mean, in points he's currently second, but with him running so far back, that if he's not able to actually gain some more positions, that could potentially hurt him, because you've got Scott Patton that is currently in 3rd in points, and he's currently running, still in the 1st position. So that will definitely help him move up in the points if he's able to stay to the front.
So I think there's probably two different, as there's a battle here for 5th and 6th, Topper Dugas and Justin Michael. I think Justin Michael, actually I think Jeffrey Merck got around Topper Dugas. Now Justin Michael's making his way. How about Rob Haynes coming in late, getting not a lot of practice? He's currently in the 7th position, trying to make a move for that 6th position, move himself up. I do recall Rob being pretty good here at Indianapolis. Little bit of contact there. Rob went in a little bit hot. A little bit of contact with the 304 of Topper Dugas. Hopefully nobody got their feelings hurt, but I'm pretty sure they probably did.
Yeah, and then you also have the 82 of Brian Abbott that just went on the inside. That would be Brandon Thornhill, and also it looks like he's also, that would have been actually the 304 of Tupper Dugas is actually running. He's actually fallen back some.
Yeah, that was from that. There might have been just very slight contact with Topper Dugas and Mr. Rob Haynes. I really don't think that it was intentional. Rob just trying to move forward on new tires, but gotta be careful not to make enemies, you know.
Right. And then you also have Jason Lance. He actually moved up another position, so now he's currently in the 11th position.
So how about, he's a teammate of mine, but I can't, I have to call it as I see it. How about Jeffrey Merck? He's made his way up to 3rd place already. He was really quick in practice. We talked about that. We don't know what his long run speed was like, but made his way up to 3rd after starting, I believe, in 7th place.
Right. He had started in 6th, and so he's already moved up to the 3rd position. So he's definitely been really quick to pass most of these guys up, and drive his way up to the front.
And you got to be careful here. Speed can kill your tires, among other things, as we watch these guys come off turn 2, get real close to that wall. Very good racing out here right now as we see some changing, some ducking, some diving. It looks like Judd Danielson wanted to move down underneath Ted Wade. Ted Wade drove it in a little bit deeper, able to hold on to that position. Jason Lance now trying to make a move underneath Topper Dugas as they're going to draw side by side going down the front stretch. Dugas does not have much drafting help in front of him. And I believe Jason Lance will be able to take the position as they go through turns 2 here. Dugas doing a great job holding the outside line as well as he is. Jason Lance getting pinched down a little bit. Dugas up towards the wall. Jason Lance being very cautious, very smart at this point of the race. You don't want to do anything that can damage your car or your tires this early in the race. So wisely, he kind of backs out of it, but dips down, took a look. Not going to happen. Judd Danielson just made a pass on Ted Wade, I believe.
Yes, he did. So
Yep.
Judd Danielson is currently, that would be the 12th position.
So your points are on the right-hand side. That's when the drivers came into the race. That's where they were sitting. Judd Danielson currently being shown in 12th position. He's 9th in points. He's going to need every bit that he can get. You don't want to count on the next race being the race that you have to perform. Got a big field like this, you got to take advantage of it and try to put your competitors at a disadvantage. Looks like Scott Patton up front is opening up a slight gap over that number 87. Now the 87 I kind of pick as one of the longer run drivers, but Scott Patton kind of pulling away just a little bit here.
Yeah, he's really opened that gap. And then you've got Jeffrey Mark that has actually closed the gap between him and Keith Haney just slightly. Because it's like in the turns he gets extremely close to Haney, almost on his back bumper, but then on the long runs they kind of spread out a little bit.
All right, some changes in the running. Something happened. Jason Lance. No, maybe not. I thought Jason Lance was losing position, but he's still fighting there with Topper Dugas. while Judd Danielson has kind of crept up into the mix here as well. Lance may have to push the issue here now and get clear, because I think, to me, it looks like they're kind of losing ground to that front pack.
Right, yeah, because I mean, right now, it's showing Jason Lance as 6.1 seconds behind Scott Patton. So yeah, they're starting to have a major gap from the front pack, because in front of Lance would be Brian Abbott. He's kind of the tail end of that first pack, and he's about 3.9 seconds behind Pat.
Jason Lance does clear. Sorry to cut you off. Jason Lance does clear. Here comes Judd Danielson looking to the inside. Now, if Judd Danielson and Topper Dugas get side by side, I think that's what you'll see. Jason Lance is just slowly going to pull away here. So Judd Danielson going to need to get around Topper Dugas as quickly as he can, as we're going to have a 3-wide situation down the front stretch. Going to be Ted Wade, Topper Dugas, and Judd Danielson. It goes back to 2 wide, but Ted Wade able to make a great move, went right through the middle. Topper Dugas now falling back a couple more positions. Elliott Sadler, he gets out of the groove. Topper Dugas up to the top of the track. You get up that high, and it's really hard to hold on to the car. He held on to it, kept it out of the wall, but lost a lot of momentum. Here comes Ray Richer and Hermie Sadler. They're going to try to get past Topper as well.
Right, yeah, you have Ray Richer on the inside of Topper, and it looks like Topper had kind of went up a little bit trying to get on that high side, and I don't know, he kind of got a little sideways, so now it gave Ray the opportunity to pass him. But then you still have Hermie that's right behind Topper, currently in the 16th position.
And as we were talking, I noticed that Jeffrey Merck had kind of fallen off the pace here. Looking at Jeffrey Merck's car, the unthinkable for Jeffrey Merck has happened. He has obviously gotten into the wall. The right front of that car is damaged, showing that TV camera angle. Bad news for Jeffrey Merck. More than likely, we're going to be pretty much a green race tonight. He's going to have to come down pit road at some point. Try to get as much of it as repaired as possible under green, which is literally, maybe a second at a time. And he's probably got 30 seconds worth of damage. So without a caution, Jeffrey Merck's going to put himself into a huge hole tonight. That moves Justin Michael up into the 3rd position, but he's 3 seconds back from the leaders. Jason Maines, we talked about how he was your current points leader, is now sitting in the 4th position. Rob Haynes in 5th. Vernon Markheim 6th. And Jeffrey Merck has fallen back to 7th and will continue to fall back because of that damage.
Right, and then you have Hermie Sadler that moved up to the 15th position. He got around Topper Dugas, but Topper is currently falling back even further. You have Michael Jeans that got around him as well, and so I'm not sure if he's having issues with possibly tires or something, but he's fallen back quite a few positions.
Just flash the running order up there for you all if you just wanted to kind of see where your driver was and you didn't want to wait for the ticker to go by. That's where your driver is currently running. We have our sights set on kind of the middle of the pack. I'll tell you, Keith Haney might be coming back here. Let's keep an eye on this battle here for a little bit. I thought that he was about 0.6 back. I thought he fell a little further back. First one down pit road is going to be Justin Michael tonight. Justin Michael going to go ahead and make his pit stop on lap 15 of 80. So interesting, in my opinion, on how this is all going to work out, because they have 2 sets of tires to get him through. On Thursday night, they ran they could run about 23 laps on a tank, but the guys who did it really suffered on speed and really did not help themselves out in any way. Justin Michael first and only one down on lap 15. Back to the front, Keith Haney, as I had said, was 0.7 seconds back, has cut that to a half a second. So in one lap, Keith Haney has managed to knock off 0.2 of a second as Jeffrey Merck now comes down pit road. If I can get clicked on him. Now, unfortunately, again, this is a green flag pit stop, so Jeffrey Merck really needs a caution. If a caution were to come out right now, he would be in a golden position. He could sit there, get some damage repaired, come back out, come back down, get the rest of it repaired, and then get back out on track. I don't think that's going to happen. The question will be, how long will Jeff have to run before he has to, basically either sit there and get it repaired, be the first car a lap down, and then come back out and hope to get his lap back later. As he does not get it repaired, he takes tires and comes back out on track with that damage. And he did touch the line, so if he ends up back down pit road, you'll know why.
Hopefully that didn't cost him any type of penalty.
I would hope so too, because it looked like he just barely touched or crossed the line. I'm not sure, but back to the front, Keith Haney is putting the pressure on Scott Patton. This is late in the run. I think they're, if they can make 20, I believe that these guys will probably split it, into 3 stops, 20, 40, 60, and then run it to the end. So we'll watch here and see if that's what the plan is. I would think that's going to be the plan, but Haney continuing to try to put a little pressure on Scott Patton. Scott Patton really putting out a crazy pace, as they are 3.7 seconds now in front of Jason Maines, who's currently sitting in the 3rd position. Rob Haynes in 4th. Then it's 6.2 seconds back to Vernon Margheim, Brandon Thornhill. Then it's 8.5 seconds to Brian Abbott, Jason Lance, Judd Danielson, Elliott Sadler. As Judd Danielson is actually making a move now on Jason Lance down the backstretch. Jason Lance has it looked like he had the advantage of the car in front of him being in his lane so he could draft, but Judd Danielson able to get by the number 86. Here comes the 85 moving up and now being shown in the 8th position. Again, some of these guys are pitting. Here comes Jeffrey Merck down pit road. Jeffrey Merck, I do believe, got himself a penalty. So Jeffrey Merck back down pit road. Looks like Topper Dugas has gone in. He has completed his pit stop. He is going to try to unlap himself the hard way. Cannot get around Scott Patton on the backstretch. He's going to go down into turn number 3. Get side by side with Scott. This is where, if you're the leader, you want to be careful here, because you don't know if he took tires or not. If he took tires, he will definitely be faster. That allows Keith Haney to draw in just a little bit closer as more drivers are coming down pit road as we hit lap number 20 of 80. I saw Rob Haynes duck down, so I think most of these guys will probably be on a 3-stop. The big question will be, Rachel, when do they take their tires? They're going to have to stop 3 times, but they only have 2 sets of tires.
Right. Yeah, that's going to be, and like you said, from what it looks like so far, that this race is going to be, green pit stops. So I think it really depends on how these guys want to play their pit strategies, and also where their current position is, because if they want to, if they get too far behind, by staying on pit road for long periods of time, it'll be hard for them to make up those positions.
Battle for the lead. Keith Haney has taken over the top spot. Scott Patton in his wake, so to speak. Top Rodriguez had passed the both of them, and then Keith Haney kicked it into a different gear, went around Scott Patton, and then passed Top Rodriguez. Scott Patton had no choice, had to get into it and try to stay as close as he can. Things are kind of reversing all of a sudden. Keith Haney really showing some strength right now as he goes down into turn 3. He's put a 2.2 second gap on Scott Patton. This is no surprise to me whatsoever, folks. Keith Haney, a great driver, especially on the long run. Here he comes down pit road, so that will hand the lead over to Scott Patton. Here comes Jason Maines. Brandon Thornhill's going to stay out one more lap, and then like Vernon Margheim down pit road. Jason Lance, possibly Ray Richer, or
I believe that was
Ray Richer.
That's Ray Richer.
There's a lot of orange and white cars out here, so I get a little bit confused. Danielson has already done his pit stop. He's back out. He is just barely in front of the leaders.
Right. You also have Elliott Sadler that stayed out, Ted Wade, Hermie Sadler, Michael Jeans. They all stayed out.
So sometimes if you don't have the speed, strategy is the way to go. We'll see if anybody's strategy plays out the longer you can stay out, but I don't think the cars are loose enough to where somebody's going to really wreck. So we're seeing them come down pit road. Here comes Brandon Thornhill, Ted Wade, Hermie Sadler, like Jeremy Crandall, Dot Hoskins, Justin Michael. Remember, he pitted much earlier than anybody else. He's all out in a whole different area code. It'll be interesting to see what happens because I'm showing Keith Haney quite a ways back. Got to wait and see how this all cycles through. It's really difficult to kind of see. Scott Patton comes off pit road. Justin Michael has passed him, so pitting on lap 15 as opposed to lap 22, a big difference. Keith Haney still continuing to stay out on the racetrack. Kind of shocked by this.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Keith Haney had pitted. That's right. He came down before Scott Patton did. He did come out in front of Scott Patton. But the big story here right now, in my opinion, Justin Michael. We don't know exactly what the strategy is, but as he crosses the start-finish line, he is 25 seconds back from the leader and waiting for the update. Looks like about 4 seconds back is Keith Haney and Scott Patton. Wow, Scott Patton. So Justin Michael put a 4-second gap on those guys. Now, I don't think that any of them took tires. They just probably went in and got fuel. So Justin, depending on how hard he drove after that lap 15 to where we are currently, will decide a lot on the tire wear. But these guys are closing pretty fast. Keith Haney is now within 3 seconds of Justin Michael. Elliott Sadler still, there we go. Elliott Sadler finally down pit road. So that will hand the lead over to Justin Michael. So Justin Michael, your leader, you can see on the screen there. Keith Haney, 2.2 seconds back. You guys are making up a lot of distance and time very quickly. So if Justin pitted at lap 15 and a lot of these guys could go into the 20s, that would mean that Justin will have to pit somewhere, I'm guessing somewhere around lap 35 to 37, something like that.
Yeah, that sounds about right. My biggest concern is how long Justin's going to be able to hold off Haney and Patton because of the fact that they pitted later. If they got new tires, they're on fresher tires than Michael because he pitted on lap 15. So
Yeah, I don't. He's not going to hold him off long because here comes Patton right now to the inside of him. Patton got around Haney while we weren't watching, and now is gone after Justin Michael. It's so strange to see that 46 car just in an instant just go from fast to faster.
yeah, I mean, he just pretty much came out of nowhere, and you also have Keith Haney that just made the pass on Justin Michael, so that moves Haney up to second.
All right, forgive the points image that I have on the screen, but let's go through the field and talk about where these drivers sit. So, Jason Maines, currently your points leader going into this race, is in fourth place. He is currently 2.9 seconds back from the leader. Jason Lance is currently second coming into this race. He is 8th place on the track, 13 seconds back from the leader. Then you have Scott Patton, who came into this in the 3rd place in points. He is currently out front, leading Keith Haney by 1.3 seconds. Jeffrey Merck, bad story news for the number 60 car. He got into the wall, got some damage. He's currently 23rd position, being shown 1 lap down. Then you jump up to the number 32 car of Ted Wade. He is currently being shown 5th place in points, 11th placed on the track. My dog is saying hi to everybody out there. Then we jump to a 3-way tie for 6th place in points. First up, Trent Drum currently running in the 19th position. Trent not having the night that he's going to need to have to ensure that he moves on to the round of 8. Then we have Rob Haynes being shown tied for 6th place in points. He is currently in the 6th position, so if he can manage to kind of hold on there or maybe even get up a tad bit further, maybe score a top 5, as he's being challenged actually right now by Vernon Markheim. Markheim just drives right around him. Question there, was there tires involved? We don't know because we weren't watching every pit stop. So looks like Rob Haynes is falling back a little bit. Next up on the list is Michael Jeans. Michael Jeans also tied for 6th in points. He currently resides in 13th. He is 22 seconds back from the leader, but there are plenty of positions out there on the racetrack. Next up, we have Judd Danielson. Danielson has been running very well tonight. As a matter of fact, so well he's in the top 5. He's being shown 5th, 11 seconds back from the leader. Then in the 10th place position, we just talked about him in points, but running 6th currently on the racetrack is Vernon Markheim, 13 seconds back from the leader. Jason Lance, we talked about him earlier. He's going to make a move on Rob Haynes. Now, I think, Rachel, we're not quite done, and I want to get through the rest of these, but we need to talk about tires after I finish this. Jeremy Crandall, currently 11th in points, is sitting 20th on the racetrack. So definitely not a good night. If you had kind of a buffer and he was up towards the top in points, wouldn't be so bad, I don't think. But being that he is currently 11th in points and running 20th, he needs to have a turnaround in the second half of this race. Your 12th place and final chase contender is the number 57 of Jeff Gilmore, currently running in the 14th position, 26 seconds back. That's a run through the field on your chase drivers. I had mentioned to Rachel that we needed to talk about tires, but we also need to talk about some other things too. Quick update up front before we talk about tires. Keith Haney now 2 seconds back from Scott Patton. Jason Maines up to third. Justin Michael has fallen 8 seconds back. So the pit strategy that he worked or that he had just does not seem to be really doing so well. Let's talk about tires now, Rachel. I haven't really really looked at what these guys did in terms of tires versus no tires, and it's really hard to see because I don't have anything that tells me if they took tires or not.
Right.
All I have is pit times. So Justin Michael did an 8.6 second pit time, and it did help him get out front because what he did was just came in and took enough fuel to get him to a certain point. That's who I've got the camera on right now, but it didn't work out in the fact that he's now 10 seconds back from the leader. Scott Patton, Keith Haney up front, I don't think that they took tires. I don't think Jason Maines took tires either. If I had to say who may have and who may or may not have taken tires, and it'd be so hard. I wish I had something on this overlay, and I don't even know if it's possible, to be honest with you, but it told me if they took tires or not. Danielson, I think Jed was running pretty well, but he seems to be running a little bit faster than some of the other guys, which makes me wonder if he took tires or maybe he just saved. Do you think anybody took tires on that first pit stop?
Based on how fast some of those guys were getting out of their pits, I don't believe so. Because I did watch a couple of these guys come down, and they barely stayed in their pit boxes. So I don't think a lot of them took tires. I think most of them just went in for fuel. And it could be that some of these guys might be saving those tires because I don't know, they might have had a feeling they might need them later. And as we mentioned, that Scott Patton's coming down pit road right now.
That's a shock. That seems really early to me. He's coming down for tire. Everybody, it looks like most people are like, oh, if the leader's going down, I'm going down too. That to me means that they can make it on one more stop. Scott Patton has done the math, and he knows that he can make it on one more stop. We'll watch that car. I'll bet money he's getting tires. No, he did not.
Yeah, no, that was a really fast pit stop.
So maybe Scott took tires the first time. There's no reason to hold on to a set of tires, and this place will kill your tires. So let's watch Keith Haney here and see what he does. He stays out. Man, this is interesting.
Right, and the type of pit stop that Scott Patton did, most of the guys that came down pit road the first time, that's how fast their pit stops were. So I have a feeling most of them did not take tires. So I'm actually shocked that Scott Patton came down again and did not take tires.
Okay, so Scott Patton, maybe that's how we can tell. No tire stop They must have taken tires on the first stop, because everybody that just stopped is in this 7 to 8 second range. Interesting. Keith Haney still out in front. That hands Jason Maines the second position. Jason Lance inherits third. Vernon Markheim fourth. And I keep forgetting about this. Here comes Vernon Markheim. He's going to try to get Woed up. See if he gets it Woed up in time. I'll flash up the running order here, and y'all can see for yourselves. So I don't really have to call out the running order.
You also have Jeff Gilmore that's coming down pit road right now.
I'm going to take the running order off the screen, folks, because it's not going to do me any good right now. We're in the middle of pit stops. I'll bring it back up here shortly. Get Gilmore down and away. Keith Haney continuing to stay out. I think he's... as he touches the wall, actually, he just brushed the wall with the right rear of the car. I don't think it'll affect anything, but Keith Haney, wow, man, this is crazy, because you don't know how hard people have to run or are running, who's taking tires for sure, who's not. Gonna be interesting.
Right. I did notice, I was taking a look at Jeff Gilmore's pit stop. He stayed in a little bit longer than what Scott Patton did, so I kind of think he might have taken tires.
No, he was only in, I have it here, 10.8 seconds. You can't.
Oh, 10.8, yeah.
No,
No.
you can't get it. You can't get tires in 10.8 seconds. I mean, you could take right side tires or left side. You know, you could take one or the other, but you can't take all four in fuel. It's a 14. It's usually about a 14-second stop. So, I think this run, the majority of drivers are just taking fuel only and going to save that last set of tires for the final run. Here comes Keith Haney. So I'm pretty sure Haney took tires on the first run. It was a long run. This will be interesting. Could also spell disaster if they have to make a really long run on an old set of tires.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Jason Lance has just inherited lead.
I'm also wondering if some of these guys were kind of banking on at least one caution happening throughout this race. That maybe, and that's what I'm thinking, maybe that's why Justin Michael might have done the pit strategy that he did, but it's been, it's been caution free so far. And I mean, we're on lap 41 right now.
Right. No tires for Keith Haney, 11.4 seconds. Things are going to drastically change here. Jason Lance inherited lead. He's still staying out. Brian Abbott still out on track. He's in second. Ted Wade third. And Elliott Sadler fourth. Fifth would be Michael Jeans and then Scott Patton. Scott Patton 16 seconds behind the leader, but once everybody stops in front of him, and they all have to, he will be pretty much in a league of his own. This is how it's going to play out, folks. Pay attention here. First through fifth all have to pit. So unless there's a caution, everybody has to pit. And that is going to turn the lead over to Scott Patton. Scott Patton currently holds an interval of 11 seconds over Keith Haney. I don't know what Scott Patton did during the time that he pitted and the time that Keith Haney pitted, but there is an 11-second gap that he opened up. So when this cycles through, when all of these cars, Jason Lance, Brian Abbott, Ted Wade, Elliott Sadler, and Michael Jeans make their pit stops, Scott Patton is going to be in a whole league of his own. Look at Scott Patton coming through turn 2, exiting turn 2 right now. Keith Haney entering turn 1. At any other track, you'd be like, oh, that's not a big deal. Here, that's a big deal.
Right, because of how large the track is. I mean, you're talking about a 2.5-mile track.
Absolutely, and the shape of this track is unique, so it's more of a square than an oval. However, Justin Michael has kind of recovered, so to speak. I mean, I know he fell off, and he was kind of, during that pit sequence, but here he is kind of climbing back up. He did not use his tires. I think that was the big difference. He's out there, he's running. I don't know how long he can stay out, if it's just going to be one more stop for him. I would assume he figured that all out. And he is actually on newer tires than everybody in front of him, including the leader. So he is actually chasing down second place Keith Haney right now and attempting to make the pass. They're side by side. Keith Haney gets very close to the wall. No contact. Hand it to Justin Michael here going into turn 3 if he's not already clear of him, which he now is. Goes down into turn 3. And we'll watch Justin Michael being shown 10.9 seconds back from Scott Patton now. So I like the strategy, but whose strategy is going to come out on top? That's the big question. We don't know. Anything could happen between then and now. If a caution comes out, neither Scott Patton nor Justin Michael's strategy really means anything, because the top 5 the top 4 that are still out there, Jason Lance, Ted Wade, Elliott Sadler, Michael Jeans, they all get to go on basically a completely different strategy as everybody else. But if we stay green, whose strategy is gonna be better?
I would say, as of right now, Justin Michael is, it shows he still has quite a bit of a gap between him and Scott Patton that he has to make up. So I'd say it really just depends on, if he's able to really cut down his lap times.
Indeed. Right now he is down to, it says about 8.8 seconds, but Scott Patton just passed Michael Jeans on the track. So Jeans has, he has passed Michael Jeans. I'll tell you, this is going to be interesting, folks. I don't know what else to say. Michael Jeans may be playing a fuel strategy where he only has to stop one more time, but I think Scott Patton only has to stop one more time as well. You look, Scott Patton's currently 6 seconds behind the leader, and they haven't pitted yet. How bad would that scare you, Rachel? Scott Patton has pitted one more time than you have, and he's about to catch you.
Right, and then the bad thing is, with Ted Wade and Elliott Sadler not having pitted yet, once they pit, that's gonna throw them so far back that it's gonna be very hard for them to be able to catch up, to gain that position back.
I mean, if they're trying to make it on one on one more stop. I think that they're on the same strategy as Scott Patton. I think Scott Patton is only planning to stop one more time. On Thursday night, I kind of saw something similar to this, and it seemed like the guys that were trying to stop, make it a strategy race, kind of slow up, not use so much fuel. They kind of lost that battle. The speed was a better strategy. So, I don't know. It's kind of crazy to me that the gap is now down to, well, that's because somebody just pitted. Whoever was up front just pitted. So now it's Ted Wade at the front of the field. And there goes Ted Wade down pit road. So
Right. So now that moves Scott Patton up to first.
All right. So big question now is, where's Justin Michael in all this? He is 7.4 seconds behind the leader. So he has gone from about 11 seconds, approximately 11 seconds back, to 7.5 seconds. He's kind of in a battle right now with Trent Drum. So not sure if Drum has tires or what the case.
Drum is actually currently a lap down.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he went and got tires and or what the deal is there, but so Justin Michael 7.36. So he is gaining on Patton, but I think with 32 laps to go, we've got roughly, let's say 10 laps. If they can go 22, 23, maybe 24. I don't have anything that shows me the longest run of the night. But let's say that, let's say just 22, 23 laps means 10 laps to go. Justin Michael has to basically make up 0.6 of a lap every lap in order to get to Scott Patton, because I'm positive that Scott Patton has one more set of tires left in his pits. Going to take him when he pits the next time.
Yeah, and then you also have to think about what Elliott Sadler and Michael Jeans plan on doing too, because they might be, like you mentioned before.
Jeans right now.
Oh, coming down pit road.
Yeah.
So, and Elliott Sadler stayed out. So that moves Justin Michael up to third position, and he's about 6.6 seconds behind.
He's moving up a little bit, but really not enough. I mean, he's if he wants to challenge Scott Patton for the win, he would have to be cutting down, like I said, a 0.6 a lap, because I think you're going to see people start to pit in about somewhere between, I think, 7 to 8 laps from now. All right, before all that starts, we're going to throw up the running order out there so y'all can see the running order currently. Patton in first, Sadler in second, Michael in third, Haney fourth, Maines fifth, Jeans being shown in 16th. He must have just pitted, which he did. Danielson 7th, Margheim 8th, Lance 9th. All these guys will move up one position because of the pit. Abbott in 10th, Thornhill 11th, Dugas 12th, Held 13th, Sadler 14th, Wade 15th, Richer 16th, Gilmore 18th, Drum 19th, Hoskins 20th, 21st, Haney 22nd, Merck 23rd, Crandall, and Miller did not start the field. So Justin Michael continuing to shave, literally just shave off fractions of the lead that Scott Patton has. I think the tires have probably equalized now. Elliott Sadler staying out on the racetrack. He is Must be clutching. I mean, just ridiculously clutching that car. If it works out for him and he is able to do that, where he can get within a window, I think this would be one that you could consider it actually worked. That he kind of stole one here. Not a win, but a good finish.
Right. Yeah. Justin Michael had gotten around him, so that puts him in the second position. But he's still 6.3 seconds behind Patton. So actually he's fallen off because he was at like about 6.2 the previous lap, but now he's
Sadler out of fuel. He tried to play the game, and I don't think it worked. I don't think it's going to work because he'll make it to his pit stall, but he has to go 27 laps, 26 when he crosses. He's out of fuel, so that made him slower. Number 2, he's going to have to run so much slower than all the other competitors. Probably not a good strategy. Patton out in front by 5.6. Something happened because you said 6.4. Now Mike 5.
Yeah, something had to happen because right before, right after he had passed up Sadler, he was running like 6.3, and then he was stayed between 6.2 and 6.3, and now he's at like 5.5. So unless he was just kind of saving and not really running that hard, that's the only thing that I could think of, because now he's cut it down.
So it dropped momentarily, but then it is stabilized kind of right back to where it was before. So not exactly sure what happened. Justin Michael able to close a little bit there, about a second. I mean, a second is huge, but definitely interesting. Would like to know what happened. Scott Patton. 25 to go as we get ready to cross the line. I think 2, 3, 4 laps, depending on how hard they want to, whatever the case may be. We don't know the exact fuel when you're running hard. I think 22 is going to be the number. Kind of the one that's sticking out. So I think we'll see Patton down pit road. 2.5 laps. Justin Michael knocked down a little bit more. He's jumped right back up. Not sure. Keith Haney back 11 seconds back. Jason Maines, current points leader for this race, in 4th. Rob Haynes has made a very nice recovery to 5th. He had fallen way back. Now Judd Danielson is in 6th. Vernon Margheim is 7th, fighting with Jason Lance. Ted Wade is right there. Brandon Thornhill is right there. Brian Abbott is right there. Topper Dugas is right there. And there's a gap to Ernie Sadler. And it goes John Helms. Little battle there. Ray Richer in the top 15. Michael Jeans in 16. Jeff Gilmore. Back to your leader, Scott Patton.
Yeah, there's a battle going on back here between Jason Lance, Ted Wade, and Vernon. Ted Wade ended up passing both Jason Lance and Vernon to move himself up to the 7th position.
Good battle going on here for the 8th position between Jason Lance and Vernon Margheim. Vernon Margheim cannot get around Jason Lance. Still wondering, folks, when is it going to happen? When do the pit stops begin for these final few these final, not few laps, but the final run? Can't be any mistakes getting in or off pit road. You speed It will end your night.
There's a few cars that just came off pit road. You had Brandon Thornhill, Topper Dugas. So there's a couple of the guys towards the back of the field that are just coming off pit road.
Fermi
And so we're at
Sadler.
lap 57, so we should start seeing some of these other
Yeah.
guys come down soon.
Yep, there we go. Patton down pit road. Justin Michael down pit road. Keith Haney stays out. Jason Maines staying out. Rob Haynes staying out. I'm sorry, Keith Haney came down pit road. My mistake. So Jason Maines stays out. Rob Haynes stays out. Those two are kind of in a league of their own right now. Watching to see Scott Patton. Ted Wade stayed out. Brian Abbott stayed out.
Jason
Justin Michael
Lance
comes-
and Vernon have just come down pit road just now.
So everybody completing their final stops, and you can tell by the pit times that that is what happened. Jason Maines coming down pit road with Rob Haynes right behind him. I think Rob ran his first 40-some laps on one set of tires and then took on his first set of tires because he climbed all... Uh-oh. We may have a caution. We have a caution
Yes,
on the
we do.
speedway. The 73 got very, very loose. Rewind this. You can see the 73 is just sideways, somehow got loose, came down, and ended up parking against the pit road. I tell you what, this is going to change everything because of the people that were on pit road. I'm not sure where they'll come out in this. But they do have the freshest tires, and for the guys that have not stopped yet, they will get a chance to come down right now and get their tires. So Jeffrey Merck, James Haney, Dodd Hoskins, Jeremy Crandall, all one lap down. Oh, it is showing Ray Richer, showing him one lap down. So these guys, depending on where they are on track, could potentially get a wave around, get back on the lead lap. I expect to see... Oh man, can you believe that? With 20 to go, can you believe that? If you were
Yeah.
Jeffrey Merck, you're like, why wait that long? So
Right.
Ray Richards being scored in front of the leader, so he's basically on the tail end of the lead lap. It's showing, oh no, it's showing Ted Wade as the leader. So the first car a lap down is Ray Richards, so he'll get the wave around. Sorry, folks, getting this all straightened out. Okay, so Ted Wade is being shown as your leader. Ray Richer will get a lap back. He'll get it the wave around. Then Jeremy Crandall is behind the leaders. He will not get a wave around. Dodd Hoskins will stay a lap down, as will Jeffrey Merck. But I think you'll probably see Jeffrey Merck head down pit road and try to get as much damage fixed on that car as he can, just in case there is another caution. Number one, he could potentially pass everybody that is a lap down and get himself in the free pass position. So with that, it looks like Ted Wade came down pit road, though he had not made his stop yet. He's like, yep, I'm going to get my tires. Brian Abbott, Judd Danielson stayed out, so he had done his already. Topper Dugas, Brandon Thornhill. Yep, waiting for the rest of them. Vernon Margheim stayed out. You know what? I'm just going to wait. This is too confusing. I was going to try to tell you who all was pitting, This is getting too out of control. Elliott
Right.
Sadler.
There's too many people.
Yep. Elliott Sadler, Jeff Gilmore, Michael Jeans, Brent Drum, Brian Abbott, Hermie Sadler, Ted Wade. Nope, Hermie was out. Ted Wade. So those are the drivers. Ted Wade, Brian Abbott, Trent Drum, Michael Jeans, Elliott Sadler, Jeff Gilmore, all just pitted. Now, the guys that were on pit road when this all happened were Jason Maines and Rob Haynes. Caution came out while they were on pit road. However, Justin Michael and Scott Patton passed them, during the caution, so they had made their way around. So on a few lap older tires, you have Scott Patton and Justin Michael. Then you're going to have Jason Maines and Rob Haynes. I said I liked Rob Haynes here at Indianapolis, and that takes nothing away from Scott Patton because Patton's phenomenal. But time to pick your driver. So, Rachel, with the information that I've given you, and there's a lot to pick from. I mean, there's some guys that are deeper in the field, but they still have a chance, even if they're deeper in the field with newer tires and whatnot. But with the information, who are you picking to win?
With that information, I would go with either Rob Haynes or Keith Haney because of the fact that Scott Patton and Justin Michael are on older tires and they're not. So I have a feeling they'll be able to pass them.
Real quick, because I know some people are out there watching. Looks like Jeff Merck had gone down pit road, probably got his repairs done. I'm gonna say he's back out on track trying to catch the rest of the pack. So the rest of the pack is halfway down the backstretch. It'd be really hard to bet against Scott Patton here. I mean, really, really hard to bet against him. But I'm going to go with Rob Haynes. I think that even though it was only a couple of laps, Rob Haynes has a legitimate shot to come up here and pretty much steal this win. Because Patton was in a league of his own. He was gone. So I still think that Patton is going to be fast. But I think it may... Whoops. Sorry about that, folks. Sat on my controller. Sorry about that. Sat on my controller. Get this button out of the way. So, pace car's getting ready to duck off. We're going to go back green flag racing. Scott Patton's going to have the lead. He'll be the control car. Wait and see when he decides to go. He takes off. Gets a good jump. Jason Maines gets a decent restart. He's almost even. Justin Michael goes down to block the inside. Rob Haynes around the outside up to third. We'll see if Rob Haynes is going to make me a profit or not. We're going to have to watch the middle of this pack because everybody is back together now. Racing is tight. We only have 17 laps to go, which is a lifetime here, but just 17 laps to go here. That'll be the other thing. These guys don't want to burn their tires up in the first few laps racing each other because even though it's just 17 laps to go, if you run hard for 3 laps, your tires can be gone for the remainder of the race. And nobody has any tires left.
Right, yeah. And yeah, that's one thing about this track. It's hard on tires. And also, I mean, these laps are really long. I mean, you're talking about a 2.5 mile track. So even though it is only 17 laps, it takes a while to get around this track.
That it does indeed. Not a lot of changing going on right now. I do see Scott Patton starting to pull out just a little bit on the leader.
Oh, it looks like he kind of slowed down due to, I'm I think that was Rob Haynes.
Justin Michael actually pulled. I don't think it was a team thing as much as he knows those are teammates. Rob Haynes and Justin Michael are teammates. And I think he pulled out of the way knowing that Rob Haynes has better tires and he has a chance to go after Scott and potentially win this race. So I think he pulled out of the way. Could be that he's his teammate. I'm not going to say that it is or that it isn't, whatever, but I think he knows that Rob has better tires and a better chance. And it's kind of showing because Rob is closing in now just a little bit on Scott Patton.
Right, and then you also have Keith Haney that just got around Justin Michael. So that'll move Keith to the 3rd position.
The guy I want to talk about, Jason Ames. What happened? Let's take a look at the front of his car real quick. Lot of damage on the left front of the car. Not sure what happened to him, but he got himself a lot of damage.
Right, yeah, because he started in 3rd, and now, he's currently in 13th.
If Rob Haynes can get to Scott Patton, this would probably be the battle for the win. I think if Rob can clear him, he's probably going to walk away from him with a little bit fresher tires. Never count Patton out, though. I've seen him lose the lead, come back, and take it back on older tires, so never count him out. But Rob is closing the gap. It's down to 0.258, actually less. You can see it on the screen there. Rob Haynes going to try to take this one away from Scott Patton with 13 laps to go. Don't count out Keith Haney. Smooth driver. Doesn't burn up his tires while these two battle it out. He might just be back there being oh so smooth and be there right at the end. So we can't count him out either. Talk about Justin Michael. Not the greatest of nights early. He was kind of back and forth, but he's currently in the 4th position. Topper Dugas found his way back up to 5th. Brandon Thornhill to 6th. Jason Lance having a pretty decent night. He sits in 7th. Vernon Margheim, Judd Danielson, 8th and 9th. Brian Abbott currently sits in 10th. So with just 12 laps to go and a good battle going on up front, we'll keep the cameras on there. But we got to talk. I got to bring the points back up. We got to bring up some drivers' names here. We're nearing the end of this race. First one that sticks out to me, Rachel, Jeffrey Merck was 4th in points entering. He is in 20th position.
Right, and unfortunately, that will hurt his position in the points.
Next driver, also in the chase, in a very bad position, Jeremy Crandall, 23rd position. He came in 11th in points. Trent Drum, 19th. Michael Jeans, 18th. Jason Maines, he was your points leader, is in 17th. Ted Wade is in 13th. There's a lot of guys tonight that are having bad nights.
Right, especially for Jason Maines. Unless something happens to where he can move up further into the field before this race ends, this will hurt him a lot more because of the fact that he's the first in points. This could potentially move him further back in the chase.
I think the guy that's going to lose the most tonight is Jeffrey Merck. He was hurt early. It really put a bad sting on him. I think he can probably recover or still make it to the next round based off of the fact that other drivers are having problems. But when you put yourself that many points back, it's going to be so hard to make it to the Final Four. How about this
Yeah,
battle
I
up
agree.
front? It's getting hotter, and I mean hotter. Here we go. It's down to a tenth or less. Rob Haynes drafting Scott Patton going into turn number 3. Scott Patton opens up a gap a little bit. Rob Haynes not going to drive through the center of these corners quite as hard as Patton, but he draws right back up to him down the straightaways. Very close call right there. Rob Haynes almost got in the wall. Here we go. This is kind of reminiscent of Thursday night between Seth Ryder and Scott Patton, but the roles are reversed. Scott Patton was trying to win. Here, Scott Patton is technically winning, so he's playing defense. Rob's playing offense. Something happened there with Rob. Rob lost a lot of time.
Yeah, I'm not sure what could have happened. I know you did mention that he got loose, but I don't see anything like on his car if he possibly would have hit anything.
No, I don't think he hit
So,
anything. I think he missed his marks going through the corners. Still 9 laps to go. It's a long time here at this speedway. He has time. He still has the draft. He can still get back up there. Keith Haney is still lurking back there, 1.6 seconds back from Rob Haynes, 1.8 seconds back from the leader. Justin Michael is about to come under fire from Topper Dugas. Jason Lance doing what he has to do. He's caught Brandon Thornhill and passed him. Here comes Judd Danielson from the 8th position trying to get up to that 68. So a couple of guys here late making good moves. Going to gain some points.
it looks like Rob has fallen off a little bit more. The gap has actually gone to about I'd say, what is it, 0.4?
About 4/10 of a second
Yeah,
now.
4/10.
John H. out on Facebook says Merck for the win. Well, unfortunately, Jeff Merck had issues early. He does look like he's pretty quick right now, but unable to overcome the damage that he had on the car. He needed a caution much earlier in the race, or he needs a caution to basically happen now. He is the first car 1 lap down, being scored in the 20th position. Running currently behind the 980 of John Held, who's in 12th position. So that kind of tells you where his speed would be. Right now, Jeff Merck would be in the top 15 had it not been for that early race incident. Back towards the front. Down the front stretch they come. About to cross the line here. Going to be 6 laps to go. Rob Haynes is going to have to see what he's got. If he has anything left in that car, he's going to have to use everything he's got. He does close a little bit through 1. We'll see if he has a good run through 2 here. Jeez, I keep doing that. He does gain a little more. So if he does this little bit by little bit, huge draft. Draws it within 2.29 seconds now. He's got to get through the corners nice and smooth. He loses just a little bit, gains it right back. We'll see if he loses or gains here. He loses entering, but he starts to gain it back on exit as they come down the straightaway. Scott Patton is definitely better through 4. Bit by bit, 5 laps to go. Rob Haynes, how bad does he want it?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely going to have to make some type of drastic move pretty soon if he wants to pass Scott Patton.
Well, Scott is doing everything right. Oh, and we have a caution. Caution is out on the speedway. We'll see if we can find what happened.
I'm trying to go through the field. I just don't see it yet.
Got a lock up there. Give me just a second, folks. I'll get everything back up here. All right, well, unfortunately, I am not sure what happened. The replay locked up, and usually it takes me back to the incident. Keith Haney. It's got to be
yeah,
Keith
I was
Haney.
gonna say it was Keith Haney.
Keith Haney is on pit road, so that incident was involving Keith Haney. Let's see if I hate to do this, but I'll go back one lap. Let's take a look at Keith Haney and see what may have caused this caution to come out. Oh, he got into the wall between 1 and 2. He kind of saved it. I don't know why the caution would have come out for that. That's strange. Nonetheless, it does bring the caution out. So, wow. I guess the question here will be, who's going to come down pit road and for what? I mean, unless these guys have a set of tires. And then if anybody gets a lucky dog or not. I think it would be Jeffrey Merck that would get the lucky dog unless he was made some kind of contact. They cross the start-finish line. Jeffrey Merck does get his back. So another reset. Like I said, hard to bet against that 46. He had a couple lap older tires. Rob Haynes wasn't really able to do anything. I think we're going to be in a... I'm not sure if we're going to be in a green-white checkered or not on this one. You'll have to let me know.
You have Jason Maines, Michael Jeans that came down pit road.
Well, Jason Maines is going to get the damage repaired that he had because he had that left front damage. We'll take a look at the front of his car. So you can tell that it did fix it a little bit, but he still does have some damage on the front of that car. So that's why he came down. Jeans, take a look at his car. Actually, it does look like he has a little bit of front end damage too, so he may have gone down and got that repaired.
Justin Michael.
Yeah, he's just...
He's coming.
I don't know what he's doing. He'll just ride the pit road and then he'll come back out. It's just Justin trying to play games with people's heads, that's all. But I tell you what. Oh my, how things have changed. Jason Lance, at one point we said, he's kind of in trouble, or at least I did. He now sits in the 4th position. So great job by Jason Lance. Papadougas, Judd Danielson as well. Judd Danielson was needing a really good finish. He's in the 6th position.
Right,
Vernon Margheim's up to 9th now.
And we are going to a green-white checkered.
So the first attempt at a green-white checkered. And this overlay has not been updated for green-white checkered, so it will not show properly. However, you will see the white flag show up in a box where the green, yellow, and red lights are for 1 to go, and then you'll see a checker come up for the last lap, or coming to the last lap. It basically throws it coming out of 4. So, well, things are about to get really interesting here.
Yeah, now that everybody's kind of bunched up, it'll be interesting to see what Rob Haynes can do, if he can possibly get a good run, a good start to possibly pass Scott.
Jeffrey Merck has moved up to the 18th position. He's going to have to fight really hard. You can get a lot of positions in just 2 laps because of how big the track is here. Of course, he doesn't want to be part of an accident and cost himself more positions. So we're about to go green flag here. The pace car is going to duck off. Scott Patton will be in control of this race, and we're going to see what's going to happen. I think we're going to change to a blimp so we can watch this restart from the top. Patton fires off. Justin Michael gets a pretty good restart as well. Rob Haynes, not a good restart at all. He's going to be on the outside of Justin Michael. This is where a teammate can really help you. Haynes has no choice but to back off, gets underneath. He's going to try to work to the inside of Justin Michael. Justin Michael is going to be Scott Patton's best friend here. Oh, and we have some cars weaving and wobbing. And there's the wreck. So let's see, who did that start with? I saw John Held in it. See if we can get the replay to come up this time. Now this is after the fact, unfortunately. Let's hit it one more time.
Brian Abbott for sure. He does not have a front end. I know he was involved.
All right, as we see some of these cars on and off of the track, let's go ahead and I don't really have a choice here, but my other controls are not working tonight, folks. I do apologize. Usually don't have to do it this way, but all right. I believe it starts with the 68 and give me a second here. Just might have been some contact there. And then Abbott tries to straighten it out. Oh, comes back up a little bit. The 980 gets in there. Just a whole lot of cars. We are back on 3 to go. See some cars coming down pit road. Gonna try to get some repairs done. You're not kidding. Brian Abbott doesn't have a front end or a rear end. But he
Right,
is
he was
being
the
shown
main
in ninth.
one.
Being shown in 9th position, so let's run through the field with the running order here. We'll bring that up. Scott Patton first. Michaels will now be on the outside. That is not gonna. That's probably not what they wanted. So they had a team advantage there because Justin Michael could go when Scott Patton could go. That won't be there this time. Rob Haynes in third. Jason Lance still fourth. Danielson fifth. Dugas sixth. Thornhill up to seventh. Wade eighth. Abbott ninth, even with all that damage. Gilmore 10th. Richer 11th. Hoskins 12th. Trump 13th. Maines 14th. Merck 15th. Held 19th. Markheim being shown out there in the pits. So things are kind of changing on that end. But Elliott Sadler, Keith Haney, and Miller are all out of the race. So, well, I don't even know what to say right now.
Yeah, this has been a really interesting race. I mean, at first we assumed that it was going to go clean, and green the whole time. But then, 20 laps left, we have that caution, and then now we're at green, white, checkered, and a lot of the field, got caught up in that caution. So it's definitely changed the way that we thought the race was gonna play out.
All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break real quick. We're going to go to the caution screen, and then we're going to roll this commercial for over-the-top designs, and you guys can check that out real quick. Over-the-top Designs is one of the premier paint shops in all of iRacing. Do you need a special paint scheme for a new season, series, league, or special event? Well, Over the Top can take your design, your idea, your imagination, and create or recreate it into an eye-popping, one-of-a-kind special paint scheme. While we're speaking of one-of-a-kind, Over the Top offers the ability to capture that special moment, paint scheme, or accomplishment in iRacing by creating it into a custom die-cast. Over the Top also offers custom logos, banners, and even hero cards. So go see John and the crew at Over the Top Design for all your needs. You can check them out on Facebook at Over the Top Designs. And remember, don't just look good, look over the top. All right, welcome back to Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We're entering turn 3. Going to come out of 4. The pace car is going to duck off, and we're going to go back to green flag racing and try to finish this thing off. All right, pace car is getting ready to duck down. Scott Patton is going to be your leader. We're going to jump up to the blimp again. Watch this restart and see. I guess we're not going green in this time. Sorry. I thought we were, but we're not. We were lined up double file and everything. For some reason, we're not going green flag. Gonna have to go around one more time. We're going to dip down to the pace car. The lights seem to be out on the pace car this time, so should be going green flag. It must have been a delayed green flag for something or someone being out of place or something happening. Rachel, big concern of mine. A lot of cars are damaged out there, and there's faster cars behind them. This could really not end well for some people.
Also, from what I'm hearing, a lot of these guys literally are about to run out of fuel. So that is also something to take into account too, because they've had to go around, with the pace car for so long that some of these guys might run out of fuel before they even get across the finish line. So, so it'll be interesting to see.
A lot of drama here, folks. Hopefully these guys will be patient because there are some damaged cars. We're going to throw it back up into blimp mode for this. Pace car should be ducking down this time by. Nope. Yes, it does duck down. All right. Patton fires off right away. Rob Haynes kind of anticipated it. He gets a good jump done on the inside line. He's going to probably end up second here as he goes through turn number 1. Runs a little bit low into the line, but he does clear Justin Michael. But will he have enough time to get back to Scott Patton as Patton kind of opens up that lead here? A lot of cars jockeying around in the rear here.
Right, I was trying to get back here to see what's going on. Yeah, we got a lot of cars. For example, like Jason Maines. Oh, looks like Yeah, Brandon Thornhill is actually ran out of fuel.
So Thornhill runs out of fuel. That's going to be bad news for him. Somebody hits the inside wall. Scott Patton. This will be the white flag lap here as he continues to pull away from Rob Haynes. We have another car running out of fuel.
Right, looks like Topper Dugas ran out of fuel.
Thornhill in the... Ouch. Scott Patton coming off of turn 4. Couldn't get the win on Thursday night. Going to try to steal the win here. Not steal it, but get the win here tonight. Going to come across the line as your winner here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Rob Haynes going to cross the line in second and Justin Michael in third. A lot of good battles going on throughout the field to get across the line and get as many points as possible. All right, folks, give us just a couple minutes. We'll get these guys up here and we'll get a chat with our top 3. All right, we've got all of our cars up here, or all of our drivers rather up here. Gonna wait for them to pull up to the start finish line. So we can get a quick talk in with each one of the drivers. All right, so let's talk to... How about Justin Michael? We'll talk to Justin Michael first. All right, bringing it home in the third position, the number 87 511 Tactical Toyota Supra. Justin Michael, you got a copy? All right, try it again. Hello? One more time. There we go.
Yes. Okay, how are you?
You're blinking a little bit. I think you got a slight connection issue, but I heard you the second time, so got us now?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me good?
Yep, coming through crystal clear. All right, sir. Well, you were kind of on an odd strategy. You pitted really early, kind of threw yourself kind of around all over the place, really. You were up front, then you kind of fell back, and then kind of back towards the front again and up and down the evening. Talk to us about your race, and then those last laps. I mean, you're all teammates and you're all kind of battling it out. Talk to us about your race.
Yeah, we just we're not racing for points, so we're just trying to go for a win, trying to pull off some different strategy just to see if we could pull it off. And not a big fan of this car and this track combination. I like the track, hate the car, so I don't know. I can't save tires in these things for some reason, but yeah, we just try to get off cycle, see if we could just do something different. That last pit stop, we only took 2 tires. That's kind of why we fell back in that last run. And it is what it is. Again, just trying something different. So got a 1-2-3 finish, so we're happy with that.
Well, copy that. Great run for you and your entire team. You guys put on a good show tonight. Really not a whole lot to talk about. The racing kind of spoke for itself. Good, clean racing for the most part. Any sponsors or shout-outs you'd like to give?
Yeah, just everybody out there watching. Hopefully it was a good show. I know everybody's probably kind of watching the 24 hours today, so we appreciate you coming out and watching. So you guys are always calling a good race, and God puts on a great league.
Alrighty, sir. Well, thank you once again, and congratulations on 3rd place.
Thank you.
All right, and coming up into the booth, probably finishing one spot lower than he really wanted to. We got Rob Haynes in the 199 Beer Store Chevrolet Camaro. Rob Haynes, how about it? You got a copy?
Yeah, 10-4, Ron.
All right. Well, I'm going to let Rachel take this one.
All right, Rob. Well, obviously, congrats on your second place finish. And kind of talk to us about these last couple laps. What your strategy was, and I mean, do you think you could have caught Scott eventually? If you had a little bit more time.
No, I don't think so. I was running behind him earlier, Rachel, and I mean, I could just hang right on his bumper there, and I got a bit tight going into one, and I dropped back a couple of tenths, and I just could not get that little bit back, those couple of tenths. So it's a really tight place to try and make time, because we're all running pretty much flat out, unless you make a mistake going in the corner. That's what I was hoping for from Scott, but with Scott, that doesn't happen very often. We all know that. So congrats out to him on the win, and I'm happy with second. That's a good night.
All right. Well, yeah, definitely congratulations. And do you have any sponsors or shout outs you want to make?
Yeah, of course, Loose Lugnuts and Over the Top, Bandit Motorsports, Rachel, you, and I can't remember the other gentleman's name that's usually there, but Ron, thanks for filling in tonight. I'm sure the broadcast went really good, and I know there's a lot of different strategies going on, so it probably kept everybody guessing, but hate to sometimes see those late cautions, but that happens, and we'll deal with it and move on. But thanks to everybody and all the fans watching.
Well,
All right. Well,
before we let you go, I have to make a comment, because this was the first race of the chase. You showed up not in quite as dominating fashion as your teammate there next to you in the 46, but very good run. How do you feel about the start of your chase?
Yeah, really good, Ronald. I was running the 24 hours today, so I'm about to go back and do some more of that. I got Wally and Chris there doing some teamwork, and Andrew. So looking forward to get back to that. But yeah, this, starting the chase here, that's a fantastic finish for me. Like, Scott's going to be really tough to beat going in here. There's one or two other guys that I'm really going to have to watch, and I'm going to go for it this year, Ron. I'm in the position now. I think with a second place to the start, I'm gonna shoot for the best here.
Copy that. Well, congratulations on the second place finish. We'll let you go, and we're going to talk to your teammate.
All right, thank you.
All right, and bringing up the man who came up one position short on Thursday, was in the complete opposite tonight. Got the number 46. Stone River Outfitters and Northeast Motorsports Museum Chevrolet Camaro. Scott Patton, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Ron. I told myself I wasn't going to have an interview like we did the other night. We got to improve by one, keep improving. So
copy that. Well, I tell you what, man, you were dominant all night long. It was impressive to watch. Really wanted to see the competition moving back and forth like it was. Wanted to see you challenged. At one point during the race, I thought that, without a caution, it was just going to be you were gone. You were checked out. Justin Michael being on a little bit different strategy. He kind of brought it back in a little bit within reason. I think he was like 5 seconds off of you, and then pit stop started happening, and then boom, we get a caution, and it just changed the whole dynamic. So to me, the most exciting part of that race, unfortunately, was that caution, and it was only because you had pitted a couple laps earlier and you were going against teammate who was on fresher tires. So talk to me about that, the race, and was there any real worries, that kind of thing?
yeah, it ended up being a really kind of a neat strategy race with 2 sets of tires, so having 2 with tires, and then everybody kind of had to deal with the surplus of, I estimated, about 10 laps or so, surplus of a fuel run at some point. So I think we're all kind of playing with at what point did we want to have that fuel run with no tires. You saw some people, I think Justin pit it right away. I think that was part of his strategy to get that out of the way early on in the race. I chose to kind of put it in the middle for various reasons, and basically to protect against a late race caution, so we weren't running, 35, 40 laps on the same set of tires at the end of the race if we bunch them all up with the yellow. So, yeah, the last yellow, I was a little bit worried, but in reality, the tires, I think I had just come out of the pits within a lap, maybe a lap and a half on the fresher tires when the yellow flag flew. So I wasn't too worried about being on older tires per se, especially with the teammates, with the Bandit Motorsports guys behind us in 2 and 3. Wasn't too worried about them putting too much pressure on me because I think, but yeah, overall it was kind of a fun race. Really fun to have those green flag runs and a little bit of excitement to kind of change it up in the end with the green white checkers and whatnot.
We'll copy that. Like I said, impressive and pretty much dominating performance. The only thing that made it really interesting was the strategies, and then of course the cautions. Before we let you go, we'll give you a chance to give any shout outs to any sponsors, family, friends, anything like that.
Yeah, appreciate certainly you guys at Extreme Sim TV for stepping up and covering the race today. Hope Josh is doing all right, but we'll catch him next week. But appreciate you guys stepping in and Rachel up there. And yeah, I'm going off now in an hour or two to finish the 24 Hours of Daytona. I'm looking over now, and our guys are in 7th place, so somewhat competitive there still. So I gotta get something to eat here and jump over there with my old Frankenstein team. So appreciate them and letting me drive with them, and certainly Northeast Motorsports Museum, Stone River Outfitters on the quarter panels. And I think that's about it. Appreciate it, Ron.
Alrighty, and before we let you go, I kind of forgot to mention or say this. First race of the chase, you came in third in points. I think you're probably going to leave here as the points leader. How does that make you feel about starting this chase?
Yeah, definitely on the plus side here. I think if anybody has a plan, it's about the best plan you can have to execute in the race like that. So glad to have these big tracks. If I were to have one circled on my schedule for the entire chase run, it'd probably be Indy here, just because I like the flatter tracks. I like the way they drive. I like these cars specifically. So I'm glad we could capitalize on our positive tracks, and that way it kind of leaves, when we get to our not so strong tracks, kind of leaves, hopefully have enough of a gap to make up for that. I consider Richmond, I think we're going to Richmond next week, if I looked right, somewhat more of a wild card than this, certainly. I certainly don't expect that to go green to checker. So glad we got the points that we could this week, and hopefully it's enough to pull us through for whatever happens next week to move on to the next round.
Alrighty, well, congratulations on the win here tonight in Indianapolis. Well deserved, and go enjoy your 24 hours.
Appreciate it, Ron. Catch you next week.
All right, that's gonna pretty much wind up the race portion of tonight's broadcast. Pretty impressive race, in my opinion. Rachel, what did you think?
Yeah, no, it definitely was. It was a very interesting race. I mean, we were pretty much caution free for most of it. 20 laps to go, and then that's when we started having the cautions. So it did. I mean, it changed up the way that we thought the race was going to go. So definitely, congrats to Scott. I mean, Scott pretty much dominated this race for most of it anyway. So, I mean, not surprised to see him up there, to take the victory home. So,
Well, I definitely enjoyed the race tonight. I thought that it was very, very entertaining. I'd throw up the running order, but something got screwed up in one of these issues. I'm just going to have Rachel read off the finishing results. I do apologize. Worked on a new overlay today, and I know that the finishing order is out of whack here, so I do have it flashed up here, but I know it's wrong, so I'm just going to have her read off the finishing order real quick.
okay. So, and first is Scott Patton, second, Rob Haynes, third, Justin Michael, fourth, Jason Lance, fifth, Judd Danielson, sixth, Ted Wade, seventh, Jeffrey Merck, eighth, Jeff Gilmore, ninth, Brian Abbott, 10th, Jason Maines, 11th, Trent Drum. 12th, Jeremy Crandall. 13th, Michael Jeans. 14th, Huskins. 15th, Ray Richer. 16th, Vernon Markheim. 17th, John Held. 18th, Tupper Dugas. 19th, Brandon Thornhill. 20th, Hermie Sadler. 21st, James Haney. 22nd, Elliott Sadler. 23rd is Keith Haney, and 24th is Calvin Miller.
All right, folks, once again, apologies for the overlay. It's an outdated overlay, and I was making some updates, but obviously needed to make some more, but I think it looks a little bit better. We'll continue to work on some more things and get you some better things added, more capabilities. But I do wish that I had the ability to flash those up, because we could talk a little bit. Big surprise there for me. He is a teammate of mine, but and I'm not saying this because he's a teammate, but Jeffrey Merck, who was 2 laps down and 21st at one point or something like that, Rachel?
Right. Yes. He was in 21st with one night.
Comes back to finish in 7th position after a couple of cautions. Things obviously went his way. A few other drivers had great nights for points, and then a couple of drivers had some problems. So check it out on Facebook if you want to see the updated points. They'll be out momentarily. Want to thank Rachel for coming up here into the booth with me tonight for covering the race. Big shout out to Josh Medlock over at Max Speed TV. Hope that he is feeling better or gets to feeling better. We did a fill in for him tonight, so just wanted to send out that stuff, and want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I hope you enjoyed the show. Come back tomorrow night here. Loose Lugnuts will be back here at Indianapolis in the Cup Car. Extreme Sim TV will be broadcasting that. Matthew Johnson will be hosting that. He'll be your broadcaster. I'll be down in the car, and look forward to another race. You can also check us out. Hit the like and subscribe here on YouTube. You'll get notifications. We have races that are broadcasted all week long between myself and Matt. We put on some pretty good broadcasts, and these leagues put on some really good racing. So come check us out. Big shout out to Over the Top Designs. If you want to look your best, look over the top. Go check them out on Facebook. That's going to wrap it up here. Thank you once again, Rachel, for joining me up in the booth.
Oh, not a problem. I had a lot of fun. So.
All right. Well, from Extreme Sim TV and Loose Lugnuts, we thank you for joining us tonight. Hope to see you next time. Have a good night.
And we are green. Evenly start inside line with the edge.
Mark Jackson just slower than Wesley Holland.
Drivers around the corners as long as they hit their